All right, guys, we're going to be talking to Connor, man. He's digital nomading, and he's been digital nomading for a while. And we're going to get into his story, what's he like, what's he dislike, what's he doing, all of it after we pay some bills. Hey, guys, I'm Michael Allen for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. TravelCostaRicaNow.com is a travel agency, so go to TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Fill out the 4-minute form. You'll be that much closer to the vacation of a lifetime. We're like you. And even you, having best friends who live in Costa Rica, who know Costa Rica, totally hooking up your Costa Rica vacation. Hey man, please subscribe. I appreciate it. YouTube doesn't care. They don't care. If you want to see our videos, the travel tips, the interviews like this, all the stuff we do, you gotta hit the notification bell, and don't be afraid to donate. You can donate, you can show appreciation. Right?
Absolutely.
All right, Connor, thanks a lot for talking to us. All right, so Connor happens to be staying at D'Angelo's apartment, overlooking the park. Shameless plug. 2 apartments, Airbnb. Oh my God. So anyway, he's been digital nomading around. So let's go back before you started, and it sounds like it was a long time ago when you first started. Would you say a year or 2 ago?
About a year ago, yeah. But I've always done a lot of travel, and I've always been fascinated by the Spanish language. So throughout my life, I've kind of found myself in places that, native Spanish-speaking countries.
Nice.
Basically.
So what was going on in your life prior to where you kind of said, "Hey, man, I should start doing this thing"? Well, even traveling, and then obviously still working.
Couple major things, I'd say. Number one was the pandemic starting, and kind of companies taking a different toll on, or different viewpoint toward travel in general. Like for example, my company, when I got hired there, the mentality was, if you're gonna work here, you will be in an office. When the pandemic happened, we were one company amongst many that said, hey, remote work can be done effectively, and we should start to adjust our business to meet those conditions that are happening in the world. And so it kind of gave me the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? Now there's this opportunity to actually go travel, which is my passion. And so I started doing that more and more.
And they were even okay for because I think they really meant that, you get up in the morning in your apartment, in your pajamas, and do some work. Mm-hmm. They were okay with you. I'm gonna be in Spain.
They were actually. So that
really?
was so instead of just doing it, which I probably could have done, I actually checked in with my manager first. We spoke about it for, a week or 2 and just talked about the logistics of how it would work, just from a time zone perspective and when she and I could connect on a regular basis. And once I did it, I always laugh about this. Some of the best projects I've done at my company happened while I was in Spain, or at least were initiated there.
So you just kind of took the opportunity. If I have to work remotely from my home, you said, I might as well move my home, or
yes,
kind of.
Exactly. I had done that for about a year, fully remote from home, prior to taking the trip to Spain, and I was there for about 7 weeks. Actually.
During COVID or prior to COVID?
During COVID, yeah.
Okay.
During the first year of COVID. Exactly.
You were at your house.
Exactly. San Jose, California is where I was at the time. So
shout out to San Jose, California.
That's right. Yep. And so went to San Diego from there. And then from there, went to Spain, and that was like my number one passion. I had taken Spanish back in school.
Spain, Spanish.
Yeah, exactly. Learning the form of Spanish spoken in Spain was the main goal, but then also just being captivated by the country itself and all the different cities in it.
So how was your Spanish prior? Had you did it in high school or college or any of that, or had you already had a base of it?
I had a total base of it, yeah. It took about 3 years back when I was 16, 17 years old. Loved it, but at the time wasn't really invested in getting good at it, but learned enough of a base while working at restaurants, and learned kind of a lot actually, and then stopped for like 10 years. And then once this whole pandemic thing happened, my secret obsession sort of came back out, and I just started to travel like crazy to different places.
I'm always jealous. I'm afraid what you're going to say to this answer, but does it come easy to you?
People think it does when they hear me speak, because I guess you could say I'm like a C1 level. On the C2 would be fully fluent, fully native, like someone born here in Costa Rica, for example. So people think it does, but they don't really see that, and everything I do is in Spanish in order to practice. I only listen to Spanish music. I only watch Spanish
novellas,
Netflix, stuff like that, yeah. And so,
that's the only one. My Spanish is legendary. Everybody knows how bad mine is. But when I used to watch novellas because I love their dramatic pronunciation of words. They actually do. It's easier for someone like me to understand what you're saying in like a novella than it is maybe just walking the street here or something and listening.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I always like the novellas, and I'll listen to them. I go, oh my gosh, I do understand some of that.
I get it. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so Spain, and you were hung out how long there?
I was there about 6.5, 7 weeks, something like that, and I literally saw the entire country. I started in Madrid, which is kind of located in the center. I even went to Portugal for a short time, and then went region by region. Galicia, Basque Country, Catalonia, flew from Barcelona all the way down to Andalusia, and spent time on the southern coast for the last 2.5 weeks.
So you're working the whole time?
The entire time, 0 vacation taken.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a vacation when you're not working. It's like you're staring at this beautiful ocean in Spain and you've got all these new experiences, but yeah, I was still working.
What's the biggest thing you have to worry about when you're doing that? Because I mean, it's not like I'm assuming you didn't set up banking in Spain, right? So you're getting your paycheck to San Diego or wherever. Right. I mean, did you run into any kind of issues of, I don't know, getting mail or getting your money or, you know, that kind of thing, you know, where?
For me personally, no, because I had a roommate at the time when we were living in San Diego, and I had this thing set up to scan whatever mail was coming in. So I'd get an email every single day that showed me a physical image of what piece of mail was waiting for me that day. And if it was important, I would have my roommate open it up. And he would tell me what it was, and I would go pay the bill online.
And it's normally not important, really, is it? So after Spain, what was after Spain?
After Spain, I focused quite a bit on moving my life from San Diego out to Miami, Florida, with the main goal being I want to be in a place where I can speak Spanish every single day and completely just abandon English, basically.
I would say Miami is a good choice for that, right?
Yeah, and my company re-headquartered, so that was a part of it too.
How much is the difference in dialects that you're learning? So I'm assuming you're appreciating the different dialects because you're into learning it.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm also assuming that the Spanish in Spain is different from what you're hearing in Miami, because there's probably a bunch of different ones down there, right?
Oh, it's some of the most difficult dialects I've actually heard. Like, I went to Spain with the goal of, hey, let's pick up the Spanish accent, let's understand vosotros and all the different conjugations. And when I get there, everybody has a face mask on. So not only are they speaking ridiculously fast, everyone has a face mask on, and it's hard to distinguish, so it made it even harder. Now in Miami, you're hearing Cubans, Venezuelans, Colombians, Argentines, people like that. So it's a great place to be if you want to get away from the traditional Mexican accent, which dominates and pervades the U.S.
So you can tell the difference between Venezuela, all of them?
Oh, yeah. Now I can, yeah.
See, I think I'm so jealous of that.
You would get it after, it doesn't take long,
dude.
It doesn't take long.
I've been here 16 years.
Yeah.
It's a little embarrassing, but anyway.
This one's neutral here. I like it. That's part of the reason why I'm here.
Okay, so you're in Miami. Oh, let's get back to, okay, so can we say what you do?
Sure. Yeah, I'm the senior director at a tech company that's based between Miami and Silicon Valley. It's a company called PixArt, which is a mobile photo and video editing platform that people use to take photos and videos and be able to edit those for things like social media to support their businesses. And we've been around for about 10 years. We have over 150 million monthly active users, and we're very proud that we're on the top most downloaded apps in the world for almost 8 quarters in a row now.
Sweet. How many people work for the company, do you know?
About 1,000, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. 1,000.
So how are they feeling now with now that, I don't know, COVID's kind of over? Do they go, Connor, you got to come back?
No, actually, we are a fully remote company. We have offices and we use them when we need to. And when I say when we need to, what that means is if we need to get together for a retreat or we really want to focus on one thing and brainstorm, we use that space for that purpose. But we were a company, I think I mentioned that we all believed in going to the office. Now we're a completely remote company, 100% different than before, and working, I think, more effectively than before in a lot of ways.
So hey, if it's working, and if you're more happy doing what you're doing. So somehow, how did Costa Rica get on your map?
So it's really interesting. I was going to take a vacation to Costa Rica about 6 months ago, and after reading up on all the crazy animals that are in Costa Rica, all the venomous animals that can be located in certain parts, I was like, you know what? Hawaii is starting to sound a little bit better for me right now. So we ended up canceling our trip and we went to Hawaii instead. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I should have gone to Costa Rica. I need to check this out. So I ended up taking a trip to Colombia next, actually, to kind of see that country.
Yeah, beautiful country, by the way.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I went to Medellin and I also went to Cartagena. Great experience, highly recommended for anybody.
Nice people, right?
Great people, and then came right here afterwards. So basically I've been spending time here, and my trip is coming to an end later this week, which is sad.
So what's your overall goal just to travel? Are you doing any kind of, going searching out maybe obviously like Spanish, is that, and talking Spanish, is that going to work its way into where you end up, or is it Miami still the hub? Are you looking for other places that are possibilities to live? as you've been traveling around, or how's that working?
Well, I think Miami for me is so new. I've spent so little time there after actually moving there just because of traveling to these different Latin American countries, which is kind of funny. But I think I'm going to spend at least a few years in Miami and travel as much as I can to places like Costa Rica. But eventually, after having learned enough about some of these places, my goal is to one day say, if I do want to move, hey, I'm going to move to Costa Rica or Colombia or wherever, based on having had experiences there, and instead of having to start exploring later.
Well, since this is a Costa Rica station channel, let's talk a little bit about Costa Rica. So, likes. I mean, what are the top maybe 5 likes that you like about Costa Rica?
Great question. I would say, so there's a couple here, and they're not in any particular order. I would say the people, the beauty of the country, the prices. I believe if you come from another economy like the U.S., for example, can be great depending on what you're looking for. And also the ability to, if you are interested in learning Spanish, to speak Spanish here in a way that is very neutral, that you can understand, that doesn't feel heavily like a heavy dialect behind it, heavy accent.
Right.
So people, landscape, prices, ability to speak Spanish, and really just something else that I can't even put a term to. It's just the feeling I get when I'm here is different than other places.
Does it feel, well, I think it does. I've been here a long time, but don't you feel like it's even just being here is just a less stressful way of life?
Yep, I absolutely do.
Kind of the whole, I can't even, if I say Pura Vida wrong, people get very mad at me.
You'll hear it
so
in the
kind of
comments,
living,
yeah.
oh no, well I always say Pura Vida, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But kind of living the Pura Vida a little bit, I think is real.
Yeah.
That's not a total cliche, that's a real thing. I mean, do you feel that? As you've been traveling around Costa Rica and doing your thing?
Totally, yeah. And to make one analogy here, to go back to the example of traveling through Europe, for example, when I was in Europe, I thought that lifestyle was slower and kind of like more fun to be able to enjoy and appreciate family and things that we care about.
Eating dinner at 10 at night kind of thing?
That kind of thing. But in the meantime, all the traffic there and the crazy stuff happening, it's just like all in your face, and there's like a million motorcycles everywhere. Here you get that tranquility with incredible landscape and just relaxed people. And so when I got here and people were saying Pura Vida, I was thinking to myself, like, this is kind of weird. Everyone keeps saying Pura Vida every time I see them, and then we say goodbye.
And it's everything. It's hello, goodbye,
It's
how you
everything,
doing?
yeah.
It's I understand what you just said.
It's
I mean,
everything.
they literally say it to everything. I don't. People,
Now I'm doing it though. That's the funny part.
my big
now
joke
I'm
was
doing
if
it,
you
so.
don't know Spanish, and somebody just starts going for 5 minutes, and all you have to do after they're done, just go Pura Vida, and they think you understood everything they
100%,
said. You are
yeah.
done.
Yep.
You speak Spanish.
Yep, exactly. Here, that totally flies. You can do that. And the people here are incredible also. I've found that there's a mixture of not only natives, ticos, people like they call them here, but then also a lot of Nicaraguans, people from nearby countries that have came here for whatever reason. They find it more tranquil, or they think it's a more neutral place to live. I love the people here. They're so nice and ready to help.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They are nice. That's also a true statement.
Yeah.
And even if they don't like you, they don't act like they don't like you. I know that's a weird thing to say, but they're still nice to you. They may not like something about you, or like, oh, I can't believe but they'll wait till you
Yeah.
they'll wait till you leave to talk about you. They're always nice to your face, which is, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that I think that's nice actually.
No, they're great people. Seriously.
So we gotta say, is there anything that kind of surprised you that you kind of don't really care for that?
Well, I think if you factor out the Spanish idea, like for me, one of the main reasons I'm here also is to speak Spanish and to understand the dialect and look at it as a place to live, etc. If somebody's not as interested in speaking Spanish, if they are interested in speaking Spanish and they come here, it's a little more difficult than if you're in a place like Mexico, which has 130 million people, where there's people everywhere and it's super easy to interact. Whereas here, you might be in a more remote part of the country, for example, where there's not a ton of density with people.
Oh, right, that's true.
You could just be sitting wherever you are all day and not be speaking Spanish.
Yeah,
You might as
true.
well be anywhere. You have to work a
true.
little harder here, I think, to interact with people and to do certain things so you can speak Spanish, basically.
Just out of curiosity, where's Costa Rica on the hierarchy of difficulty with dialects? Comparison with like Mexico or Spain or Argentina or whatever. So what's how difficult have you found? Well, I'm
It's a good
assuming
question.
you probably don't find it difficult at all, do you?
No, I do sometimes, actually. I would say on the list of easiest to hardest, I would put this easily in the top 5 of most easiest to understand. There's only a few intricacies that are different about the language here. For example, the way that they say the R here, a lot of times in Spanish in general, there's kind of it's R, that's how you say R in the alphabet. Here it's kind of R, it's different. It's like, it's this weird pronounced way that they do it. So in the middle of a word, if you're not sure what that word was to begin with, there's no chance you're going to understand it if they say the R that way in the word.
How are you with the slang? Have you caught on to the slang?
Not a ton of slang yet. I'd like to learn more. So if you know some
You
stuff like that, of course, that's more universal. It sounds like though.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
they say that a lot, but that's their kind of fuck here,
Yeah.
I guess.
There's one that I think I learned a couple days ago, but it may not be appropriate for the conversation here.
Yeah,
so.
it is. Let's hear it. Which one?
Let me actually
Because most
tell you,
people
yeah.
won't know what it is anyway. So
I wrote it
doesn't-
down. It's a little longer, but let me. Urinar fuera del tarro, which means.
I heard P in there.
Yeah, it basically is when somebody's out of context and they have no idea what they're doing, but they think they do, and they're just kind of ignorant. It basically means peeing outside the bucket. So if I'm just using
Right,
the
no, it
bathroom
makes
here,
sense. It makes sense, right? It
and
makes sense.
I'm
Makes
missing the bucket without knowing it. Someone's going to come up and say, "Dude, what are you doing? You got to re-aim right here," and that can apply in life. So
that is totally appropriate for this channel.
yeah,
My viewers will love that.
great.
Say it again. What is it?
Urinar fuera del tarro. Urinar fuera del tarro.
Actually, that's a pretty good phrase. I might have to catch up on that
Yeah,
one.
Argentines use it too, but they don't say tarro. They say a different word at the end. I forgot what it was, but bucket basically. can be
So
called.
what's on the? What advice would you give for people that are thinking about? They're looking at you right now and they're going, "Frickin' Connor's traveling around doing this thing, digital nomad and doing internet stuff."
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? Would you tell them to jump in? How much homework did you do? Like, did you do homework and research before you just like, I'm going to Spain? You know, you know what I mean? I mean,
totally, yeah. It definitely. So if you're someone who's at home watching this right now and you don't have a remote job, obviously things are a bit more difficult there, and there's hurdles you have to get through first before you can just drop everything and go. If you do have a remote job, my advice for you is stop thinking, start doing. Just
exactly.
make it happen.
Do it,
because
man. Do
the
it.
prices are good. In my case, I subscribe to something. This is not a plug, but it's a subscription that I have called Scott's Cheap Flights. It's just a website. It's a mailing list. You go there, you plug in your home airport, you plug in places you're interested in, and they just send you emails on when the prices drop to go to those places. So any given day, you may get an email that says, "Hey, you were interested in going to Costa Rica. The prices are now down 80% on that destination.
Right.
We think that's going to last for 48 hours. You should buy now." And if you're someone willing to take that leap of faith and buy right then, you can kind of figure out the rest later and just go. That's been
Really,
my
how much you have to
experience.
lose if you do go to a place, whether it's Spain
I
or
know.
here, and it just
Yeah.
okay, maybe it doesn't work out. Okay, maybe it doesn't. Well, you just go on Scott's, whatever, and go back.
You can go
right?
back, yeah.
So in the long-term plan for you, with how much you dig Spanish and all that cultural stuff, do you see yourself doing something, moving out of what you do now, working remotely and for another company, and doing something like yourself? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
your own, I don't know, your own English, teaching Spanish to English people courses. I don't know what, you know what I mean?
I don't know what it would be either, but I think because, my dad's an entrepreneur, for example, he's a golf pro and he has his own business and things like that. I have an entrepreneurial spirit that lives inside of me. And what I tell people is that right now at PixArt where I work, I'm able to tap into that because I'm kind of able to build things with what I do. And that satisfies that for now. 5-10 years from now, I could very well want to start doing my own thing. And I think it could easily involve Spanish and definitely could involve a place like Costa Rica for sure. It's such a great place. Even with the tranquility here, there's highly entrepreneurial people. Like even doing this YouTube video right now, for example.
I would agree with that.
yeah.
I mean, most of the entrepreneurial stuff does seem to come out of more of the San Jose area type of
Silicon
type of
Valley,
thing.
Miami.
Normally, yeah, right.
It's all about the hustle and all that kind of
So
stuff.
what's your immediate plans? Just go back to Miami and chill there for a while, since you hadn't really spent a whole lot of time there, or are you already looking somewhere?
I'm thinking about Argentina next, or Colombia again, because there's so much I didn't get to see there.
Yeah, Colombia is nice. That's one of I haven't been there yet. I have friends that have, was living here and moved there, and they go, "Oh, Mike, it's beautiful here," and I
Yeah.
know it is, and I know the people are great and all that, but I just haven't. I've been it's been Guatemala because the flights were so cheap for so long, like $121 round
amazing.
trip, and it's like
nothing.
and Antigua. Have you been in Nicaragua?
I have not yet.
Nicaragua's got the oldest city in Central America is Granada.
Oh,
and
wow.
it's kind of this. I dig the city, but Antigua in Guatemala looks like a replication of this Granada. So we like going there. But anyway,
I would love to check that out.
Guatemala is cool. So
Well, there's a lot I haven't seen here. That's another part of my plan is like I've been here a while. I've been to San Jose, the capital. I've stayed out all night there and had fun type of thing. And I've seen a lot of the city there, and the traffic's nuts, by the way, if you've never been. And I've seen all over Fortuna.
yeah, you don't want to
and
spend too
San
much time in
Carlos.
San Jose, really.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it was kind of a jumping off place for us, really, just to kind of arrive there. I know that Liberia has an airport too, and there's just so much I haven't seen. The Caribbean side.
Actually, that's a good question. So when
Everything.
you're doing your thing, how much time do you have time to explore? I mean, you kind of said you went all around Spain, but you are working. You are expected to do, your job. How much time do you have a chance to explore the areas you're actually in? Do you have enough time?
Not always. With Spain in particular, I wanted to work US hours because my goal was to make it so that nobody in my company saw any difference in productivity whatsoever, so that it never becomes
I bet
their
Connor's
problem.
in Spain.
There's a lot of people that would say that, I'm sure, but I didn't want to ever make travel somebody else's problem where they have to say to themselves, God, Connor's not going to be available. He's doing this.
Where
or
in the
that."
world is Connor?
Right. But I had to modify it. Like there were most days there where I had to work I chose to work until 2, 3 a.m., but I started way later. So when you asked about time to explore, I got to explore all morning long while the U.S. was still asleep. And here it's only 1 hour ahead of where California is.
Not much difference.
Same hours.
True that.
I explore like after 5 and then early in the mornings and then on the weekends.
All right, so anything else you did kind of say about you could be somewhere in Costa Rica and not really be speaking the Spanish, which you want to do. Is there anything else you just kind of like, I'm not into that thing that they do here. Maybe it could be traffic. Whatever it is, anything else you just weren't down with? Do you like the food? Do you like I don't know.
The food's great in terms of quality and price. Like it's a lot of simple dishes. Like in my opinion, I was hoping that Costa Rica would have be better known for its food. Like for example, when you go to Mexico, some of the best food in the world is
Mexico,
Mexico,
right?
It's the best, yeah. And here there's no real traditional dishes other than these casados, which is like beans and rice and chicken. Just super basic, which is good, but nothing that's like, oh my God, I have to go back to Costa Rica just for that food.
Right.
That
I love Costa Rica, but there's really not a lot of culture here, technically speaking. There a lot of people, Spaniards conquered Costa Rica, whatever, but there's really not a lot of art and all that kind of stuff. They're kind of new at all that game, really, as far as culture in Costa Rica, whether it's food, art, museums, kind of all that stuff is really, it's not known. People don't come here to see the pyramids, don't come here to see, kind of thing, but I still love it here anyway. So.
Well, I can give one more piece of advice too. This was a huge learning for me. So when I was planning to come to Costa Rica, it was primarily based on just looking at Google images and YouTube videos and just saying, oh my gosh, I have to go there, right? And I also looked at pricing and I saw that the airline tickets were cheap. I saw the rental cars were cheap. And this is where I want to make sure viewers actually do their homework here. The rental car was going to be $6 a day. So I was like, awesome, I'll rent a car for the whole time. I get there and
people watch our videos, they know that that's not true.
Oh my God, I get there and it ends up going from $6 a day to about $85 a day because of the mandatory insurance you have to get that they don't talk about anymore.
Connor, you missed our videos. We have about 10 on that because that is real. It happened to me and D'Angelo the first time we came here 16 years ago. We think we have a car, we walk in, they know they got you. What are you gonna do? You're gonna walk out, you're gonna thumb your way around.
Nothing you can do.
And so I actually got so mad, I did leave. And we went to the place next door and they're all in on it. And it was even more expensive. And so we went back to the place with the tail between our legs, got the car.
You're like, oh, we're back.
And they know they're fucking with you. Everyone knows it's happening. You can't do nothing about it. So we have a lot of videos. We actually have a rental car person that we use. People can little plug, sorry. A 4 month, no, because it does help people.
Totally.
Because there's nothing worse than getting off the plane. Some people are on a budget. They have to, all of a sudden, they're putting $1,500 on their card that they were expecting to use.
Oh, that's the deposit too. I didn't even mention that.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So there's a
huge.
lot of stuff that kind of can happen. And so I just, not that there's not other good rental car places here. They're not all corrupt and scammy. But if you just want a stress-free one, we have one. So.
Right.
So kind of like that. So yeah, you're right about that. See, another one, he knows.
And the tourism industry, I know, is a big part of what drives the economy here. Like where we are here in Fortuna, for example, I go outside, I see more white people than I do native Spanish speakers.
Right.
And none of them speak Spanish. And it's like, if you want to learn Spanish and you end up in a place like Fortuna, which I do think everybody should go to and spend a lot of time here, you will have to work harder to speak the language, like I mentioned earlier, for that reason.
Right,
too.
and even us living here, a lot of the Ticos speak English because, the tourism industry here.
Right.
So it helps people like kind of me, not have to learn. I know if I got dropped off 15 miles that way in some farmland and stayed with some old farmers, I would probably be able to do Spanish better. Obviously you're forced. They say that's the best way to
Right.
do it. Just be forced. You have to talk it. No excuses.
100%.
Matter of fact, just real quick, there these two guys learned. I can't remember how they. It was like they learned 6 languages in like 6 months or something. So they went to France. As soon as they get off the plane, no excuses. You can only. It doesn't matter if you're doing charades. Doesn't matter what you're doing, but you only speak French. And they did that, in Asia. They did it in a Spanish-speaking thing, and they within like, I think it was like a 20-day period of just non-stop of that language.
Had to be a lot of charades, I'm sure.
Yeah, but they still, you're forced. They were forced, and I thought it was interesting, and it is kind of true. If you are forced to talk it, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, I can't 50 miles away. You know, English isn't going to really work. So.
No, but it's a beautiful place, and even, we didn't get into this, but like the excursions that are here, for example, seeing the hanging bridges and being on a bridge like 400 feet in the air that's wobbling everywhere. I'm not scared of heights, but that actually freaked me out a little bit.
That is very high.
Yeah, it was crazy. The guide was awesome too. The guide was like super spiritual and telling me about all these excursions in different parts of the country. So nonetheless, you know, people like yourself, people like that guide, got me so amped up about coming back here. The energy is phenomenal here.
Well, really Connor, man, good luck on your. I think you're going to have a lot of adventures coming up in the next couple of years, even if it's staying in Miami.
Yeah, it's a wild place there. It's really crazy.
Just one last question. So, how far have you progressed in your Spanish since Spain?
So in Spain, I think I was like a B2 in Spanish.
Can you explain kind of how it goes, the sequence?
Sure.
So what am I, like a F34?
Well, we haven't talked in Spanish yet, so I can't analyze you, but I'd say there's kind of 3 main tiers. There's 6 tiers actually: A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. If you're C2, that means you basically were born in a Spanish-speaking country. You're fully fluent. And even if you were, you still might not be a C2 because you still might not know the full grammar rules of your own language. I'm considered a C1 as of the most recent exam I've done. So I can communicate, you know, whatever, any topic, and mostly understand everything I hear. In Spain, I was like a B2. So I progressed 1 level since then, which is for me really good progress.
Yeah, but that's a big level, really, right?
Yeah, for me it was like a big goal, and I wasn't listening to music in Spanish or anything before then. Since I started doing that, that's what helped me get there, is the TV series.
I actually do listen to Spanish music. That's the funny thing. I catch things, but man, my ears just garbled. Anyway, Connor, thanks so much for talking to us, man. I appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure.
Man, we got to keep up with you. Maybe you come back in a year and a half or so, or whenever you come back, we got to do this again and see what you've been doing.
I love the accommodations too. It's been a great apartment, phenomenal location. There's no better location. I've stayed in multiple locations in Fortuna. It's the best one here, and that is not a plug. It's the truth.
It is a plug, damn it.
Well, it is, okay, sure, but no one's telling me to say it. It's
all right, guys, I'm Michael Allen. This is Connor, TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Hey, man, things are going to pop up. If you're thinking about living or traveling anywhere, always do your homework and research. And if it's Costa Rica, I'm going to go with our videos. All right, man. Ciao.